Hello, Nasdaq followers, and welcome back to a special episode of Nasdaq Spotlight. I'm your host, Sarah Morse, and today I'm joined by Ian Ball of Abitibi Royalties and Rob McEwen of McEwen Mining. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thrilled to have you on the show today. To kick things off, you're both in the gold sector, but your companies have fairly different business models. Can you speak to how you're helping your investors build capital gains?
Well, I think you're right. We have very different business models. For Abitibi, we're in the royalty sector, so we don't operate anything. We collect royalty payments, and it's really our job then to reallocate that capital on behalf of our shareholders to try to generate a gain. So we have it much easier than Rob, which is on the operating side. But I think from an investor standpoint, they offer different features. Royalty companies are generally seen as more conservative way to play the gold market, where operators have traditionally been seen as having more leverage to the gold price because their margins expand faster in a rising gold environment.
I would agree with that. I'd say for a gold investor who's new to the sector, the royalties tend to be a more consistent revenue stream, be more suited to someone who wants exposure but not a lot of risk. In the production side, when I built Gold Corp, it was all about making a big discovery and then producing an ever-increasing amount of gold that came from that discovery. So you have I'd say, a greater volatility in the gold shares of a producer as opposed to a royalty company. I also think that the gold industry has been rather lazy in the sense that they've given their profit margin to the royalty companies.
It's certainly a very interesting time to think about the gold sector. Ian, I'll direct my next question to you. What is setting Abitibi Royalties apart from its peers, and why would an investor go for your shares rather than another company's?
Well, Abitibi is designed we've set it up for long-term shareholders, and a lot of people can say that. But when you look at what we've done, we have the lowest share count in the mining sector. That's worldwide. We have the fewest number of outstanding shares. We buy back our shares. We pay a monthly dividend. We have no stock options outstanding. So I believe we're the only gold mining company in the world that does not issue stock options. And for the past 7 years, I've invested all of my after-tax compensation into the shares of the company. So we've really designed it to maximize the share price, not to maximize the market cap, which is what a lot of our peers focus on. And it's a very bad metric. So if you look at our price, we've gone from 35 cents to $25 a share. And the two key components of that have been a discovery at Canada's largest gold mine, Canadian Malartic, and not issuing shares for growth's sake.
Ian, Rob, I'll direct my next question to you. As someone with over 30 years of experience in the gold sector, how have you seen the industry change and evolve?
It's changed quite a bit. One, talking to Ian about royalty companies, that's one of the innovations in the industry. And a royalty company is essentially a derivative of a producer. So you've had that. There's been some new technology coming in. I think the biggest changes coming will be a growing shortage of skilled labor in the industry. So you expect costs going up, and automation and artificial intelligence is starting to creep into the industry slowly. It's an industry with a lot of inertia, so it's slow to change, but it's coming. But the automation will be one of the largest aspects of it, along with realizing that computing is becoming really, really cheap, and they can use it for all sorts of analysis that we don't do right now. And there's going to be a shortage of gold coming and precious metals coming to the market, because the time to bring a mine on has stretched out dramatically. The number of regulations that you have to satisfy has increased. Mining is a legacy industry, and so it's been layered with all sorts of regulations, whereas the tech industry is new without those regulations and has been able to grow. And you're going to see the demand for metal in a green, sustainable world, electric vehicles. Everybody's going to need a lot of metal.
Certainly, it'll definitely be interesting to see how gold and the gold sector play a role in the financial markets going forward. Shifting ahead, Ian, I would love to know, as a larger focus, what is the first thing you notice about someone's work ethic? This is a very, active industry. What is,
Right.
kind of the key for you?
Well, in terms of I guess it's very important for every company to hire correctly, and you want to hire the best people. In terms of work ethic, I would really break it into two components. You want to hire people who work incredibly hard. That's obviously, you can't be talented and not work hard and expect that success is going to follow. But if you look at the Nasdaq in Manhattan, there's a lot of people who work really hard. I don't think there's a shortage of hardworking people. Where I think there's a shortage is critical thinking. And a lot of people will take a problem and they will try to fix the problem as quickly as possible, or a task as quickly as possible, without actually analyzing, how is this the best for the company? Let me sit back, think about this, and some critical thinking is required. And if you could combine hard working with critical thinking, I found it's an extremely rare commodity within the labor space. So if you can find employees who employ both, that's probably your best commodity that you could actually have, because there's a shortage of those types of individuals, especially within mining.
Absolutely. Rob, I'll direct my next question to you. Again, you're someone that has a lot of experience in this space. What advice would you give to the next generation of professionals looking to get into gold, and how should they distinguish themselves?
You need to have a passion first and an attitude. As Ian said, hardworking. I think it's a commitment to make your boss look good. And then you'll be recognized and be pulled forward. Curiosity and not accepting the path that everybody's followed, I think is one of the big keys. And certainly for myself, building my career in the industry was doing things that the industry doesn't think you can do. And it's questioning the fundamental underlying assumptions. Now, of course, if you do that too early, someone might just say, get out of here. But you need that passion. You have to look to other industries. The mining industry in general, I think, is a wonderful place to be looking if you want to innovate. It might seem like a backwater to most, but it's one of those industries that isn't attracting a lot of really bright people. They're going into tech or finance. But if you want to eliminate your competition when looking for a career, go look at the mining industry, because it can use that attention, that innovation. So I think it's got promising future, and you can go into space with mining as well. I talked to one firm, and they're building robots to do the mining in space. And you think, well, if they're doing it in space, maybe we can take some of the technology back to Earth. So I'd say curiosity, passion, and a real commitment to looking for other ways of doing the job better.
Absolutely. When in doubt, curiosity and passion are key heading into the rest of 2021. Well, Rob, Ian, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us a little bit more information about mining and the larger gold sector. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Until next time, Nasdaq followers, check back on our social media channels for more coverage of Nasdaq Spotlight. We're signing off.